Hello, everyone, and welcome to the November public meeting of the Kubernetes Steering Committee. As a general reminder, we abide by the CNCF Code of Conduct, which essentially boils down to please be excellent to each other. This is our first meeting, actually, with the uh, new members of the committee on board. And although it's not much of an agenda for this time around, I'm sure we'll get more into it later as the year progresses. So with that, I'll drop a link to the notes again in chat. Nabrun, you are up first with the criteria for KubeCon maintainer scholarships.
Yes. So I wanted to discuss about that. So just to give an overview to everyone, KubeCon provides a few kinds of scholarships. To be distinct, there are four. One pertains to speakers. So once anyone gets their talk selected, they can apply for a speaker travel grant, and they have to ask for uh, a justified amount on travel expenses. There are three more which come under the category of CNCF scholarships under the DanCon scholarship purview. One is the diversity scholarship, the second is the needs-based scholarship, and the third one is the maintainer scholarship. So the maintainer scholarship was introduced last year, if I remember correctly, to cater to people who could not either be in the diversity scholarship category or in the needs-based category, but for maintainers of CNCF projects who have no funding from their employers to attend KubeCon. So, this year, there was someone who applied, who is like a sub-project owner, like an approver in one of the owners' files in the Kubernetes community. They got their scholarship rejected on the grounds that CNCF considers anyone who is in the foundation project maintainer CSV to be a maintainer. Now, in that list, we only have steering plus SIG release leads and SIG contribex leads. So that creates kind of a difference between who we in the community consider a maintainer and what CNCF considers a maintainer for a scholarship. Personally, in my opinion, anyone who is like a approver in an area, um, I think we consider them as maintainers. I know that we don't officially have the term maintainer anymore in community membership, so we need to somehow like bridge this gap, either by redefining who is a maintainer or either by asking CNCF if just for Kubernetes they can follow a different criteria. But I feel the second one also has challenges because other projects would come and say like why the special treatment for Kubernetes. For some cases it makes sense, but I feel like that question may come up. So I wanted to table this discussion on what do people think. So at this point, like anyone who is not in steering, not in contribex leads, not in release leads, they can't get a maintainer scholarship by default from CNCF, and we need to do some sort of channeling to uh, like at least get their application reviewed. Bob.
Yeah, just for some context on the CNCF maintainer list, um, it was the reason why only steering has been on it in the past, or steering plus Kindrix and a few other groups, is because that group is allowed to do things like vote on who's going to be holding the developer seat on the TOC. This used to be a honestly kind of convoluted fractional voting method where like each project got counted as one vote, and they would look at who voted out of those, and it essentially bubble up that way. But that has since changed to be sort of one giant flat voting, like if you're a maintainer you get to vote. And so there are projects that have like 40 maintainers listed, and so that's 40 people voting versus us as Kubernetes, where it's just like the steering committee. We have the other reason for us having that restricted maintainer list is because the listed maintainers there are the ones who are allowed to open up issues in the CNCF service desk on behalf of the project. And this is mostly a reason like to we don't want, anyone and everyone just being able to open up various issues in the CNCF without the knowledge of either, steering if it's like a funding request, or contribex, um, if it's things like, well, any number of like other requests related to like Zoom, marketing support, and things like that. So I just wanted to provide like a little bit of context around that maintainer list. Um, I do think it's worth revisiting um, with the fractional voting change. Um, but like as far as a short term thing, um, like I think we can like reach out to the staff and at least let them know like they've been very willing to work with us in terms of flexibility, um, at least like as a short term solution for this specific thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say that for sure, like I'm not advocating to add all sub-project owners to the maintenance list. That would most likely not be doable, and that would have like
Hmm.
probably like couple of hundred people as entries from just Kubernetes alone.
Yeah. In the
So we need to think
past,
of something.
no,
Mhm.
sorry.
Sorry, go.
Um, uh, in the past when we've sort of discussed this item before, um, it's usually been like thinking about the chairs and TLs as the ones that would potentially be listed um, in there, at least for voting purposes.
But this is a new information to me that CNCF is willing to work with us, and I feel like that's a very positive thing. If we can get that feedback from steering, I have given feedback like privately, but I think we should, as a committee, like give feedback as people who handle the governance of Kubernetes. That hey, we do see that you are going through the project maintainers sheet, but then can you please like if someone is applying from any of our sub-project owners, can you also take consideration of their application when doing a maintainer scholarship? And I believe like the number of people who actually go through the maintainer scholarship this route is very less. Um, I know very few people who have applied from our sub-project owners. Maybe I'm biased with the data. I don't have the concrete data, but the number of people who I know who are attending using either diversity or needs-based scholarship or speaker travel grant are higher than people who are going through the maintainer scholarship route. Um, Mostly there are people because the speaker travel grant doesn't apply to anyone who has gotten a day zero event talk. So if someone is speaking at the Kubernetes Contributor Summit, they are not eligible for the speaker travel grant. And the only avenue for them is to apply through the other three means. And mostly the people who speak at Contributor Summit, they fall into that category of maintaining something inside Kubernetes.
So like one thing that we can do as a interim like type thing in terms of working with the CNCF is encourage people to let us know if they are going to be applying for the maintainer grant, because it's a lot easier for us as a group to give them a heads up of like, hey, um, we have this person applying, they're not listed as a maintainer, but here's XYZ what they do, um, versus a reactionary thing of them, you know basically just looking at the forums and checking names and things like that. And that would probably be just general socialization amongst our community as a whole.
I think that's a great idea. Maybe in the scholarships page, they can add this text that if you're a Kubernetes subproject owner, please ping steering before applying or something like that. Machi?
Maybe we. I'm worried that they might not necessarily be interested in adding that kind of information specifically for us only. And I'm thinking how we could better share that knowledge across at least the leads initially. Because if the leads will be aware that, oh, if you or folks within your group are interested in applying for scholarship, just ping the steering, and we will help you to go through. Um, I yeah, I don't know how many actually we would have to go through approvals, but I think that will be probably a good starting point.
Yeah, I think we can send emails when the scholarship time opens to dev and leads. At least to leads we should, if you're going this route. Maybe encourage leads, like if you know someone who is attending, like who wants to attend KubeCon, maybe they're giving a talk or something somewhere, and you feel like they need to apply, just poke them to apply and then also poke us that they're applying. Um,
Yeah.
some
Just
risks I'm seeing here, like if the number of people going through this process increases, there will be a lot of emails bombarded to us. How do we streamline that?
um we can sort of have our own, sorry, should have raised my hand. Our own set of like requirements for that sort of thing, in terms of like they must be active. The other thing that we have now, um, as more SIGs adopt them, is the sub project leads. So we could say that this is open to sub project leads, and have, you know, or SIG working group leads and sub project leads, and if they need a heads, if to essentially have them ping us if they need it, assuming
Makes
sub
sense.
project leads will be
Uh,
active.
Machi?
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking, following a similar route. Uh, First, we don't know what the volume currently is, so that is something that we would have to figure out in the first place. But then again, going back to the maintainers list, if we expand the maintainers list with all the SIG leads and sub project owners, we could actually, if the volume will be significant, we could push to them the initial paperwork the if we will be seeing that the volume is significant, that it would be pretty cumbersome for us to go through every single application and then just push this over to chairs and to project owners, because being closest to the people working, to the maintainers working on project, they will be able the best justify, yes, this person and this is the work that the person was doing over the past, I don't know, 6 months, 12 months, to justify the scholarship requirements.
Also, just noting that this should become a recurring responsibility for us yearly thrice, um, to be a, to make everyone aware that this will be a work item on the agenda then. Cool. Do we have any more points from anyone on this topic, or we can move ahead? Um, like we can discuss later as well in our public forums. No one? Okay, cool. Bob, next point.
Okay. Um, just a quick question: who is actually going to be able to make it to the contributor summit?
I'll be there.
I'll be there. Okay. We have a steering AMA, I believe, set for 9 a.m. I can double check the time real quick. But ideally, if you're going to be there, please show up for that one.
You said 9 a.m.?
Yeah, I'm pulling up the schedule right now. So 9:15 a.m. Essentially, we roll right from the, welcome to the summit. Here's the quick TLDR of things into the steering AMA, because it's a nice slow roll for people to get into it. If you've not been to one of those before, essentially it's it's not recorded, and there tends to be a lot more frank questions, and we can have real solid discussions. It's also just honestly a nice slow roll to start the day as people come in. So, and we'll definitely be doing another one at EU.
I wasn't aware that it's not recorded. I thought all the 2 instances that I was in were recorded before.
Nope, that one is the one thing that is not, or if it is recorded, it's not actually published.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone have any questions or thoughts on that? Okay. Next thing is just follow up on the onboarding items. Are we done with all of those at this point? I don't know if our new members could take a look at that and just give a quick act on the issue or something, that would be great.
I think we're just missing a link from Steven's certificate, but I'm pretty sure that we can just copy paste that from the last time that he did it. And I think that should be all.
Which thing was it?
The inclusive
Steven's
leadership
certificate.
training. So we're just missing a link to Steven's certificate.
Oh,
But I'm pretty sure, like I said, he already did it last time, so we just can copy, find the previous issue and copy the link over there.
Nabrun?
Have you verified if you are already in the CNCF maintainers mailing list? Because that's a manual email and that needs to have some confirmation from CNCF staff.
There was an email yesterday from Amy about the topic, so if every new member got it, then I'm guessing that we're there as well.
Bob, can we verify who are there in the mailing list? I remember last time I was missing. We were talking about it.
I am looking right now to see if I can.
Okay.
Yeah, it sticks out that the mailing list reference and the service desk aren't checked off in the issue, and I don't know if we got to that or not. I think I was
Yes.
out.
Yeah, I thought the service desk was done.
So service desk was done, but last year I remember the email was sent, but then there was no acknowledgement. And so this is a side conversation. Bob and I were talking about I did not get a few maintainer emails. So probably the list is out of sync with the current steering members.
Okay, I can't view members, but I can link to the lists, and you will have to log in. But there's that one, and then
Yeah, I think we should just finish checking off the empty checkboxes and then close it when all of them are checked. There's only a few to
okay. In any case, we should try and finish those up and get that closed. Are there any other items related to, well, the onboarding, getting through all the list of things there?
Yeah, I just checked. I'm not a member of that group.
Okay.
It says like apply for membership to this group.
Yeah, we can follow up with Amy on that one.
Yeah. I think it's just an email to ask for sync.
Yeah. Okay.
Should we take an action item on that?
Yes. I don't know if you did a comment on the issue, or do you want to do it in the doc?
In the doc, I can also send up the email because it's different from the current onboarding task.
Okay.
If everyone is onboarded from the current issue, like please feel free to like check that item. This is asynchronous.
The next thing from me, we can also take offline, but now that we're getting into the holidays, there is conflicts, at least with our current private meetings. Like theoretically, you know, do people even want to like meet in December for the the private meeting, or you know, shift something around? We can also sort of just like play it by ear and pick a, you know, same time slot but a week that doesn't clash.
Does the fourth week also have a holiday in US or just the third week?
One sec. Oh, it doesn't clash for November. I'm sorry. Like, as I thought it ran up against Thanksgiving. So we should actually be good there. Anyway, we can take that one into Slack to figure out. At that point, there's nothing else on the agenda. Oh wait, Christoph.
Christoph Patterson.
Yep.
Yeah, I just added something late breaking. So I noticed that there was a message in the steering committee public channel asking like what we do with our Kubernetes IO Twitter account. I still have access, sort of. I still have access rights to the Twitter account, but I can only access them through TweetDeck. And TweetDeck is now a paid subscription feature, and I do not pay Elon Musk a cent. So I don't know what the current status is. I didn't know that the CNCF had kind of stopped tweeting from that account. I raise that both from the perspective of something that we should follow up on and something that I should probably not have rights to anymore.
And yes, all around. That I think at this point is going to be a post KubeCon item to ping them about, because I believe all their social media and everyone is like just sort of, well, honestly, the CNCF and Elephant Hole is like all hands on deck for KubeCon.
Do we have somewhere to remind us? We're gonna forget.
We can put it at the top of the note stock as a follow-up item.
That sounds good.
We need to clean up the follow-up items as well someday.
Yep. I'm leaving that is just to stand out to actually as a reminder to follow up. Okay, with that, are there any other items?
Who wants to do the boson for December?
Technically, we don't have one for November, but like I am also fine filling that.
Thank you, Bob, for doing that.
The bosun is essentially the person that handles the meetings. We also do not have to figure that one out now.
Yeah, just asking so that this is in the mind of people.
I'm happy to run the December ones. That's not a problem.
Yes, a fancy name for host. And be the person to ping people like, hey, please remember to add agenda items.
But we do have an elaborate list of responsibilities in the boson guidelines doc.
Yep, I found it when I was going through some docs, and I was like, Bosun, what the heck is this? And then I started looking quickly on the doc. So yeah.
Well, if that is it, I think we can call it there. Thank you all. I will hopefully, I'll see some of you next week, and the rest of you, I will see some of you around Slack.
Or at KubeCon EU.
Yep,
Or if someone is attending Cube Day India.
yep. We'll get it sorted out. Later, all.
Bye.